All right, so that should be better. It's still kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. That's so weird. All right, we'll just make do. My computer's messing up a little bit, but so today I want to go over and talk about some possibilities that we may of some players that we may get at eight. Um, the draft is here in a couple of days. That's Wednesday here, so Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But a couple more days and we'll be the NFL draft will be here. I'm really excited to see who we're gonna get. We honestly don't know. This is one of the most unpredictable drafts in a long time. There's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of variables to this draft, and I'm excited to see one who we get, but just two, just the process of getting to eight. We already know that the Titans are going to most likely pick Cam Ward, and the Browns most likely are going to get Travis Hunter, which they are fielding calls. I did see that. Um, uh, but most likely Travis Hunter going to Giants. It's not 100% sure, but I would assume they're going to go Abdul Carter. They do have Tavon Thibodeau that has not gotten his fifth year option taken. So it'll be interesting to see. It would be good to see those Abdul Carter and Thibodeau play together. But that could be an option. I saw that floating around Twitter a little bit with Thibodeau not getting his fifth year option, and we needed an edge. Could we trade for him? Which I think is unlikely. But I think the Giants kind of want to see how the draft goes and maybe re-sign him. But I just find that actually they haven't picked up his fifth year option yet. He's a good player. But after that, with the Patriots, I think it's going to be Will Johnson, maybe Mason Graham. I think they're going to go Will Johnson. They need a tackle really bad. And then you have at five the Jaguars. The Jaguars to me are a big wild card. They could go Mason Graham if he's still available. They could go tackle. They could go receiver. There's a lot of different directions I can see the Jaguars going, but um, outside of again Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Mason Graham, Ashton Genty too, pretty big good player too. But there's not really like these big amazing players. There's a lot of good starters, there's not cornerstone players that at least right now. Sure, some of these players can become cornerstone players for specific teams, but as of right now, there's not like, oh man, that's a guy. Like last year, receiver wise, you had Rum Odunze, you had Marvin Harrison Jr., you had for the name escapes me, the guy from Seattle or not Seattle, sorry, the Giants. So there's a lot of Graham, Jihad Campbell, Will Johnson, so on and so forth. So again, this isn't your end all be all, but this is a good source of information, something to use. But just want to kind of put this out there to, I don't know why the hell they have Jackson Darden on here. Um, I definitely don't agree with this at all. But it's just a source to use. Okay, bring this back up. Okay, so Mason Graham. So like I said, Mason Graham is should be who we want to fall to us. This guy is a beast. Again, talking about having Derek Brown, Bobby Brown Jr. Is it Bobby Brown the third? Maybe it's Bobby Brown the third, and then you have Mason Graham as well. That line went from a really bad weakness a year ago to a strength within an off season. Obviously, you getting Derek Brown back helps out a lot, but that would be a scary front 7.5. But I just wanted to kind of go over some film here, and I don't know. Again, I'm new to this. I don't know where to go for like specific film. I'm pulling over highlights. I know you shouldn't always go over highlights, but just going over some film here. And this is Mason Graham. So watching this, like I started watching this when the off season started, like how much he gets to the quarterback and how much he disrupts the line. And with Mason Graham, he I understand people didn't really some people don't like him because of his stats, right? Like I get like you want to see production, right? Production is obviously very, very important. Um, but you want to I'm a I have some video, but I'm not gonna play as much because dude, it's really choppy on my computer. I'm gonna have to restart this hopefully, but not right now. But it's just not playing well. I don't want you to guys keep watching that, but Mason Graham is just a beast. He's able to get to the quarterback, and he's basically able to disrupt the whole line. When you can disrupt the whole line, you're an asset, obviously, to the defense. Um, Mason Graham, he would be obviously defensive end for a 3-4 scheme. Uh, can we see him dropping if the Pats and Jets pick offensive line? I think he's the most likely out of the three blue chip players that we talked about earlier that can drop. But again, this is best case scenario. Mason Graham, he has a high motor. Again, the lack of production is not a concern. He had 21 pressures, QB pressures, 20 hurries, 9 QB hits, and 3.5 sacks. But if you look at his tape, not just the highlights, obviously, but just watching like film, like actually watching each game, each snap, most of his film, he is constantly playing with a high motor, and he's able to disrupt the line. So this is obviously something that we need. A guy that again that can get to the quarterback, and he's also good at run stuffer as well. So uh, this to me would be best case scenario for me. So Jalen Walker. So Jalen Walker is obviously the one that we've had mocked to us the most. I was listening to Mike K earlier today, and he brought up a good point. So several things. One, when Dan Morgan was asked during his press conference, do you view him as an edge? Do you view him as an off ball linebacker? Will he be versatile? He's like, we pretty much view him as an off ball linebacker. And to me, he's doing that because he's showing that they don't value him, but trying to me, I don't believe that one. I don't, I believe they pick him. They're going to use him as a tweener. Um, at the end of the day, though, you need to make, I do believe in like having a player in the top 10, having a specific position and excelling in that specific position, and then in certain packages, maybe be a tweener. But several things that Mike K brought up that I also agree with as well. So he brought up obviously Evero's on the hot seat. We I believe Evero's a good, defensive coordinator. He's shown it. I understand that last year our, defensive, unit was, 1, horrible, 2, we had injuries, and then just the depth was just putrid. So, he only had so much to work with. But, again, Mike K brought up a point where, okay, so he or this, like, Evero has never really, started a round 1 defensive player. Like, ever since he's been defensive coordinator, he's never had a first round defensive player, and then he started him. We saw last year, Trevin Wallace. He didn't start until Shaq Thompson got injured. Shaw Smith Wade didn't get any reps till the end of the season due to injuries, even though we had tons of injuries. Same thing with uh, Richardson, Demonte. I can't remember his first name, but Richardson, the safety that we picked up as well. He didn't get any time until later in the season as well. So he brings that up because he's like and it makes sense. It's a risk in a sense if one, you have that history with Evero, and two, are you going to pick because when you're picking someone in the top 10 and picking someone at 8, they need to contribute right away. And I would hate to see us get Jalen Walker and we don't really see him play until like week 4, 5, 6, and there's not that instant impact because we had the worst defense in the league. We need someone that can get after the quarterback. And if you really if they truly believe that he's just an off ball linebacker, then I don't think you pick him at 8. I think you pick someone else, and I'll go over who I think that they would pick. But which I do. I think they'll, he's obviously NFL frame right now is off ball linebacker, but he needs to build his frame to be an edge rusher. But again, Mike K brought up a good point. Just there's a risk picking him, not so much the player, like he's a good player, but does he fit our scheme? Yes, he fits 3-4, but does he fit what Evero wants to do? And that, if we draft him, that will be yet to be seen. But again, that brings up a good point. Will he fit in the scheme? Can he? Because Evero brought a lot of other players that could fit in his scheme that knew what to do, and they play like crap when they're here. So, um, Everett's definitely on the hot seat this year. But I just thought that was a good point. Jalen Walker being a good player, but does what he do fit what Evero wants to do? So um, I understand that Panther fans love him or they're like about him. But I thought that was a good point. The other possibility would be Will Johnson. So Will Johnson, I'm actually pretty high on him. I do like him. The only issues I have with him is him being injury prone. He played only 6 games last season, which again, my biggest concern. But he's just a really big corner. If you have a healthy J.C. Horn and a healthy Will Johnson, your secondary is getting so much. It's just gotten so much better rather quickly. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He excels in press man coverage. PFF gave him a coverage grade of 84.1. And he's actually really, really, really reliable in run support too. He had 14 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He had 2 interceptions, and each of those interceptions were returned for a touchdown. So he has playmaking ability for sure. Um, he what I found was really interesting. He's only allowed 16 receptions. This is last season. 16 receptions, allowed for only 195 yards. And the passer rating he allowed was 36.7. So to me, outside of Travis Hunter, Will Johnson is easily number 2 best corner in this draft for me. He's also had 5 Bass breakups. This is someone I would get really excited about. But again, this is somebody that would cause for pause only due to injury. And I mentioned in my previous videos, having 2 corners that are injury prone is not the best thing in the world. You want someone that's going to be healthy, but he shows that when he's on the field, he's a really, really good corner. So this is someone that I can see us possibly in a lot of these, even Jalen Walker, again, outside of Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter, every one of these picks are going to feel like they were reaching. Every one of them. To me, it's just who is going to impact one, who's a better player, because again, BPA is their several variables. Talent, you obviously have to be really good. To your position, does your position impact the game? Some positions impact the game more than others. Quarterback obviously is the biggest impact. We don't need that. And then you have edge rusher, wide receiver, linebacker, and corner. Those five are my number one, or are the areas that you need to have solidified on your team to be successful. Obviously, quarterback is the biggest one, but outside of that, you need those, and so we need a receiver, we need a corner, and he instantly makes our secondary so much better. And this is a player that we really aren't talking about enough here. So Donovan Zechariah, I'm not going to butcher it. I just butchered it 2 or 3 times. But Donovan, who's an edge rusher for Boston College, when Dan Morgan mentioned, and he was asked the question, are you looking for physical traits? Are you looking for production? Like if with your first round pick, does production matter? He's like, absolutely it matters. We don't want someone that doesn't have production. This guy screams production all day long. And I honestly don't know why he really isn't talked about enough. Guy is under the radar. And this is someone that would not surprise me at all if we're stuck at 8. Because again, outside of Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Mason Graham, if those 3 players are gone at 8, Dan Morgan wants to trade back. He wants to trade back. There's no other player, in my opinion, that's a blue chip player. But this is someone that if you're stuck at 8, I would be really excited about getting. He's had 80 tackles this past season. He had 80 tackles, and he had 16 and a half sacks, which tied the Boston College single season record, and he led the FBS with 1.38 sacks per game. So he led the FBS in sacks. He had 20 and a half tackles for loss, ranking second in FBS and first in ACC. He had 3 forced fumbles, 1 pass breakup, 15 quarterback hits, and 27 QB pressures. Talk about production. This guy, high production. And I honestly, if I'm to be honest, I kind of like him more than I like Jalen Walker. I really do. I really like this guy's game. I'm going to pull up here real quick his tape real quick. But this is somebody that I really think is a very strong possibility at 8. Let me pull this up here. And so sorry about the choppiness, but so he's number 6. But this guy's just quick. He's strong. He has really long arms. He's a little thin. If it stays choppy like this, I might take this off. And it might be my computer. I'm having really bad issues with the computer here. Let me fast forward this a little bit. But he's just really quick off the ball. He has a really quick first step. He is very strong. The only knock on him would be he's a little bit thinner frame, but he's only 21. I'm gonna take this off. This is like super choppy. But he is a little bit thinner frame, but he honestly is he's just really strong, and he has really, really long arms. Like he has like tree trunk arms. But this is someone that I think is severely underlooked. And honestly, if we could trade back and we got this guy, that is a huge win. But to me, I like if I'm picking at 8, this guy's your edge rusher. He's not a tweener, he's not outside linebacker edge, he's edge. So to me, I like him because he shows the production. Shaylen Walker had 6.5 sacks last season, but he was on a stout Georgia Bulldog defense. But with and so that will kind of mess with your stats a little bit. But Donovan has shown that he can get it done, and I think he'll get it done at the next level. This is someone I really, really, really like, and someone I think that I could I I would almost bet that I think this is who we take at 8. This is who I think that we take at 8. And I think they do like Jalen Walker. I don't think that there is a set player at 8. Again, if you take away the top 3, Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter, there isn't a player they're like, "That's our guy." I think it depends on scenario, depends on who's still available. Obviously, they have their board, but to me, edge, if you really truly believe Jalen Walker's only an off-ball linebacker, then you pick this guy because this guy, one, I think that they're very equal in grade, but position value, this is more valuable. Another player, Tet McMillan. So Tet, again, and I've talked about this several times, but I want to mention again because it's obviously a possibility. But Ted McMillan, will he make our wide receiver room better? Sure, but again, I mentioned this before. Jalen Coker and XL have the same skill set as Ted McMillan does, except Ted McMillan is 6'5". He's a really good jump ball receiver. I think he's uh, more athletic than people think. I think he runs decent routes. I think he needs to work on his route tree and his separation a little bit, but he doesn't have breakaway speed. But I've been given this analogy I've told people this and to kind of help them understand where I'm coming from. So if you're a defensive coordinator and you're playing the Panthers and we drafted Ted McMillan, so we have Ted McMillan, Jalen Coker, XL, and Adam Thielen, you're gonna put a safety in the box, and especially if you're someone that wants to run the football, you need speed. If you have Tet on your team, defensive coordinators are, they're going to press. Sure, you're going to get some jump balls. You might get some big yardage throws, but you're not getting any yak. You're not getting any yards after the catch. No defensive coordinator is going to be afraid about you burning their corners or safeties. They can press more. They need somebody like Matthew Golden, who again at 8 to me is rich, but at the same time it's rich for every other position. But I think they'll definitely come away with a receiver. It's just, will it be at 8? I don't know. I don't think so. You never know. If we trade back, could we get someone like that? Sure. But we need speed. And Ted at 8 to me just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand if you're a true Panther fan and you understand where we're at and you understand our needs, why you would want him at 8. Even if we traded back and let's say we traded with Denver and we're picking 20 and Ted is still there. And Golden's still there. I'm picking Golden every day of the week. Golden has better route running. He separates better. He's crisper in and out of his breaks. He's obviously faster. He ran a 4.29. So to me, this is extremely unlikely that this is going to happen. And for the Panther fans that don't want him, it's not happening, guys. It's not happening. And this isn't to bash the Panther fans that want Tet. Again, like if for some miraculous reason we draft Tet, okay, cool. He's a Panther, and I'm gonna support him, and I hope he's successful. But this whole Mike Evans narrative, he's not even close to Mike Evans. He has the frame, but he doesn't have Mike Evans' speed. He doesn't have Mike Evans' route running. He doesn't have Mike Evans' separation. So the fact that people give him the Mike Evans comparison, what tape are you watching? Tet is not going to happen at 8. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. So Ashton Genty. So to me, Ashton Genty is someone that, to me, he's like a faster Derrick Henry, a faster, more athletic Derrick Henry. Um, this guy's a beast. This is probably one of the better prospects I've seen as far as a running back coming out of the coming in the draft since Christian McCaffrey. Just overall prospect. Um, the dude is obviously a beast. He has elite contact balance and a low center of gravity. He's super hard to tackle. Um, the guy can do it all. He can run. He can catch out of the backfield. He's very explosive. He's obviously a 3-down back. He has elite production. He's athletic. He has great vision. But is this something the Panthers? Is this someone the Panthers can they may pick up? Maybe. I highly doubt it, but I think it'll be more if he's there, we can trade back. I think the Bears are a team that want to trade up for this guy. The Cowboys, I believe the Broncos. I can see us if he's here. I think there's a strong possibility that someone will want to trade for him. Not just quarterback. Obviously, quarterback, we know that the Saints are picking behind us, that they may want a quarterback. And, there's always a possibility that a quarterback needy team will want to jump the Saints and come to us. But this is a player that I can see people jump up for. Tyler Warren, too. And we'll talk about him in a second. But this is someone that if he's there, I think this is more of a we trade back scenario versus we draft him. Now, if we draft him, I'm not mad at this at all because now you have Chuba Hubbard, you have Rico Dowdle and him. Now, to me, you got to get a speedster, and that offense looks so good. I mean, we had the 29th ranked offense, and we had the worst defense. So, like, we can't ignore offense too. Do I think to me, edge is more of a need than running back, obviously, and there's a lot of good running backs in this draft. But at the end of the day, would I be mad about this? Absolutely not. It would make our offense more fun to watch. But again, I think it'll be more of a player that comes to us, or if he falls to us, I think we can trade back. Okay, so Tyler Warren. So Tyler Warren is someone that again, I don't think it's likely, but I think it wouldn't shock me because we obviously need tight end. You had Jatavion Sanders that was playing really well until he got injured, and when he came back, he never was the same. But again, it was a neck injury. Maybe he wasn't 100%, but that did scare me a little bit. Where when he came back, he wasn't the same. So hopefully he can get back to that. You have Tommy Tremble. He's getting a little bit better, but you don't have that surefire tight end. He would be that. Tyler Warren, he's 6'5", 256 pounds. He's like Rob Gronkowski and Jeremy Shockey to me combined. He had 104 receptions, which he had a Penn State and Big Ten tight end single season record. He broke those. He had over 1,200 yards receiving yards, which broke Penn State and Big Ten's tight end record. He had 8 receiving touchdowns, and he averaged 12 yards per reception. He also runs the ball. So he's had 26 rushing attempts. Again, most of these are like red zone, and short yardage situations, but he's had 26 attempts, 218 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then passing, there are several plays. He had 6 of them where he was 3 for 6 for 35 yards and a touchdown. Excuse me, but this is someone that you can use a lot of. Again, it's Richard at 8 for me because of the position, the value, the player, this type of talent. This is someone that obviously makes you a lot better, but how much does tight end impact the game? Again, that it factors into BPA. Again, this isn't someone I would be mad about that we get, and I would love for Dave Canales to be able to drop a lot more plays for this guy and be a big part of the offense. But again, you still need that speedster. So even if you drafted this guy, you still need someone with speed that the defense needs to be worried about, because again, if they don't have speed, you're not going to open it up so much for XL and this guy. But Do I think this is a high possibility? No, but it would, it's something that I wouldn't be mad about if we did get. Now, one thing that I know a lot of Panther fans are going to be like, dude, why is this someone you're talking about? And there's a reason for it. Kelvin Banks. So Kelvin Banks is a left tackle out of Texas. He played for the Longhorns. Several things. Now, I don't think this is likely at all. It's just something I wanted to talk about. Dave Canales during the owners meeting talked about he was asked about the 5th year option, and he pretty much said Icky's our guy. We believe in Icky. He literally said that. He's like, we believe in Icky. He's our left tackle. He's our guy. To me, that just tells me that they haven't gave him the 5th year option because, in my opinion, we're waiting until the end of the draft just to see how things fall. But we're pretty much going to give him the 5th year option. But right now we're focusing on the draft, and then after the draft, we'll focus on that. But you have Taylor Moton is last year of his deal. Again, I don't think offensive line would really shock me. It would shock me in the first round, but outside of that, it wouldn't shock me if we get an offensive tackle because of these reasons. But if they sign this guy, to me, what do you do with Icky? Because he's a pure left tackle. I think he played a little bit of right tackle, if not mistaken. Um, This is someone I see more of the Saints picking. I think if I was betting money, if the Saints don't get a QB, they get this guy because they need a left tackle. Um, but this guy is a talent, though. Kelvin Banks is a cornerstone player. Don't make it twisted. He's a better left tackle than Icky, in my opinion. But would it help us this season? Not really, but it would really long term wise, it would shore up our offensive line more, and we wouldn't have to put money into Icky, contract extension. I just don't see this happening though. Um, but Kelvin Banks, he's an amazing pass blocker. He's a really good pass blocker. He excelled against top competition throughout the season. Against the top defensive ends, edge rushers, he excelled. He is, to me, very probable top 10 pick, definitely top 15. But again, I see him being picked over, with the Saints. To me, was it Campbell out of LSU is the top tackle. You have Mimbu, but then you have Kelvin Banks too. So those are the 3 top tackles for me. But this is someone that we did reach out and we had a top 30 visit with. So I just found this interesting. I want to talk about it. I think it's highly unlikely. Again, I feel like Dan Morgan and Dave Canales are very, very straightforward and kind of tell us exactly how they feel and what they want to do. So I don't think that they'll be sneaky with like, hey, we're to get this guy, then trade Icky or whatever, right? I just think this is most likely, in my opinion, they're waiting to sign or get Icky's 5th year extension after the draft. And that's simply just because they want to focus on the draft. That's my opinion. But with the Icky not having the 5th year option done yet and Taylor Moton's last year of his deal, I wanted to talk about this because it would really stun me. It really would, but it's something that I just wanted to talk about briefly real quick. Okay. This is somebody that Mykel Williams. So this is someone that if we get an 8 and you have Donovan Eziraku there and you have Jalen Walker there and you pick this guy. Now, to be fair, he's NFL ready as far as his frame. He has the size that you want at edge. And he would not be a tweener. This guy's an edge rusher. But to me, his lack of Dan Morgan's press conference, I believe a lot of what Dan Morgan says is because he hasn't really BS'd us. He hasn't really given us a BS answer or thrown us off. He's been very straightforward. So he said that he didn't want to draft someone at 8 that didn't have production. This guy doesn't really have production. He has 15 tackles, solo tackles, 21 total tackles, 5 sacks. Again, I understand that Georgia had a lot of good players on defense, but you want that 8 pick to have production. But 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 pass deflected. He is, and we talked about fit with Evero's scheme. He's a really, really good strong edge setter, and Evero mentioned that whenever if you saw when we drafted DJ Johnson, and he talked to DJ Johnson on the phone and said, "Hey, we need to make sure we set the edge first before we get to the quarterback." This is a player that I think Evero would love to have, or he fits in his scheme, but I want someone that is that has more pass rush development. He's more pass rush developed than this. But again, he has high upside, but he's raw. He needs pass rush development. He, but again, when you're picking at 8, you need to find someone that you almost have to build. You're going to build your defense around, and can he be someone that you build your defense around? Yes, he has the tools. But to me, with what I'm seeing, not at 8. I'm picking Donovan every day of the week before I pick Mikael Williams. But again, this is a strong possibility, and this is what DraftKings had as our second most likely, second most possible person that they had as far as their betting odds. So we'll see. But Mikael Williams at 8, I find is rich. Yeah, I like him better than Shamar Stewart, but I think Mikael Williams will be like 15, 16, 17, 18, around there, not at 8. Okay. This player, Nick Emenwari, he's a safety for the Gamecocks. This guy, to me, I would not be mad at 8. I know people have talked about how, like, oh, I think that's too rich at 8. This guy is a physical freak, and he is someone that you would have to account for if you're the offensive coordinator. This guy can make plays. He's strong. He's a physical freak. He's had, and you talk about production. This guy had 88 tackles, 57 solo last season, 3 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, which he was tied 4th in the SEC for. He ranked 8th nationally with 107 interception return yards. He's one out of 3 players in the country with 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. Will Johnson was the other one, and he averaged 6.77 tackles per game, which ranked him 12th in the SEC. He has production. He's 6'3", 233 pounds, and he runs a 4.38. This dude is elite athletic. He is really good in coverage. He has great playmaking ability. He's able to catch the ball. He has great leadership. He's very versatile. He was used in the box. Majority of his snaps were in the box. He was put in the slot. He was also put as a deep safety. You can use him a lot, and I think he's very versatile. And this is someone that I think Evero could really use. And this is someone that, again, like safety at 8 is a high, maybe a little bit, but this guy would be you in Evero's system. You need to have good safeties, and this guy's a really, really good safety. So this is someone, again, if you trade back and you pick this guy, I would love it. Now at 8, again, all these are kind of reaches, but I wouldn't be mad about this at all. Nick Emenwari is a dog, man. This guy's a beast. He really is. Another player that we talked to, and some people have us drafting as well as a possibility, is Jihad Campbell. So Campbell is a linebacker for Alabama. So this guy would be off-ball linebacker. He's pretty versatile. He primarily plays 3-4 off-ball linebacker, but you could use him as a hybrid edge as well. He can drop into coverage. We talked about Dan Morgan talked about how that adds a lot of value for a linebacker, and that's just what this guy does. He is versatile, can play outside linebacker, off-ball linebacker, and edge. He can go in zone. You can blitz him. He reminds me of Fred Warner and a little bit of Zach Bond, but he's just bigger than Zach Bond. This guy has an explosive first step, like sideline to sideline range. He's really fast. He has really, really good. He's really, really good sideline to sideline. And he is really, really strong in coverage skills. Watching his tape, I was like really impressed with his coverage. He has really good eye discipline. He's a really reliable tackler. On film, I didn't really see any missed tackles, to be honest. And he's a really good blitzer. He was as a blitzer, he had a 13.1% pass rush win rate. It's pretty good. He has good instincts. He has good play recognition, but I do think that needs to be refined and improved upon. He can struggle against blockers when they get square on him. It's hard for him to kind of get off the offensive linemen that are able to get a good block on him, and he occasionally lacks knockback power in run defense. But this is someone again at 8, a really good player. He makes the defense a lot better, but it just, it's just hard for me to see. To me, Jalen Walker is better than Jihad Campbell. Um, it would be hard for me to see us pick this player unless we've traded back and certain players are not there. I still want us to draft an edge, but Campbell is not a bad prospect at all. This guy is a really good player, a really good leader. He's very strong, high motor. Um, he would be. It's just, would he take snaps away from Trevor Wallace or Josie Jewell? Who does he replace there? And I think it would be Josie Jewell, older, injury prone. He had a couple injuries last season with a couple of games, but if you have this guy now, your linebacker room is pretty young and strong. But this is another prospect that we possibly could target. And then the other one I want to talk about, I was kind of surprised with this one. This is someone that to me, would not be close to someone that would get an 8. This would be someone if we traded back and let's just say the Pittsburgh traded with us from pick 21. We swap picks there. This is someone that I think we could possibly get there. Walter Nolan. So Walter Nolan is a defensive tackle for Ole Miss. This guy had 48 total tackles, 25 were solo. He tied the team with 14 tackles for loss. He was 10th most in a single, which was 10th most in a single season with Ole Miss. He had 6.5 sacks. So as a defensive tackle, that's pretty good. He had 4 QB hurries, 3 pass breakups, and 2 fumble recoveries. In the SEC, he led all defenders with 12 tackles for loss and tied for 5th with 6.5 sacks. According to PFF, he was the number 5, the 5th highest ranked run stopper nationally. They ranked him 91.7. And again, this is somebody that Evero would love to. I think this would fit his scheme. He was 2nd among interior defensive linemen, and he led the SEC at run stop. His strengths is he is an elite run defender. Obviously, he's explosive. He's athletic. He's got production: 6.5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. That's not bad, and he has a really high motor. The weaknesses, though, was he's pretty inconsistent with pad level. He can play too high at times, which he loses his leverage, and he gets knocked back off the block. He needs to improve his pass rush technique for sure. And one thing that I found very interesting was he's played 3 seasons, but this season was his first time starting. So there's a little bit of a lack of reps, I guess. But to me, first year starter, that's to me, obviously you're still really raw, but not bad for first year starting as far as stats. But this is someone that I saw us linked with the Panthers. But at 8, that's just too rich for me, way too rich for me. This is someone that they would target, in my opinion, if they traded back in the 20s. But at defensive tackle, is this guy someone that you would be a defensive end at the 3-4? I think so. I don't think he'd be the nose tackle. He'd be a DE for us. Maybe an edge, but I think he'd be more of a defensive end. He plays the Mason Graham position. So, but yeah, these are some of the players. There's other players. I'd include everybody. Obviously, we'll see. I just want to kind of go over a couple players that I thought would be a possibility there at 8 and the possibilities if we traded back. again, I'm really, really excited about this draft as far as what happens. Do we who do we get at 8? The follow-up to 8 is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Are we able to trade back? And then if we do, great. What picks what assets do we get out of that? And but if we're stuck at 8, because the Panthers again, the Dan Morgan wants to trade back. If Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter are not there, they want to trade back no matter who is there. If they get someone that says, "Hey, we'll swap first. I'll give you this year's second and next year's first." Yeah, I'll take that. And maybe a late day 3 pick. I'll take that. I think they'll take that too. But can you find a sucker? Because I think most NFL teams this year want to trade back. This is not a year where there's a lot of blue chip players. Again, there's a lot of good starters from our pick basically all the way to pick 30, 40. And again, with our second round pick, I don't think that you'll see us, if we do pick at 8, I don't think you'll see us pick at 57. I think we move up. There's so much more talent. There's a huge drop off in talent, I think, after 40 ish. I just don't think you'll see us wait that long to pick, but we'll see. We'll see. I do think that they'll come out of this draft with an edge. They'll come out of this draft with a speed receiver. They have to get safety. Um, I know we mentioned Nick Emmanwori, but and obviously he's the best safety out of this draft, but there's a lot of good safeties in this draft until you hit about the 5th round. That's what I've been hearing is like right around the 5th round, there's a big drop off. So I could see us double dip at safety. Honestly, we only have Morig and we only have Damani Richardson or Nick Scott, and that's it. I think you're going to see us start a rookie safety unless like we pick up Julian. Was it Justin Blackman? There's another one out there. There's another safety out there too, but I think you'll see them. That'll be a post draft signing if we end up doing that. I think they want to kind of see what the market is and also, what their roles are going to be on the team. Uh, uh, and because they don't want to go to a team that, maybe we drafted 2 safeties, one in the second and one in the fourth, and they're not really getting any playing time. So, um, if we don't sign a safety, which I feel like is highly unlikely, I think we will definitely sign a safety or draft one. But if we don't, I think Justin Blackman's going to be uh, our go-to player and choice. But I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about the draft. I'm only working a half day Thursday, so I'm gonna be home around 1, and I'm gonna be tomorrow night. I'm gonna be marinating some carne asada, getting that ready. So I'm gonna grill that Thursday, and then going to cut it up, and we're gonna make some tacos, and then drink an IPA, and then enjoy the draft. And I most likely will. Um, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make a video after the draft. Or not. I'll try to, but I definitely will eventually make a video about each prospect that we draft and who they are, their measurables, their strength and weaknesses, where they fit on the team as far as position, and all that. And then after the draft is done, we'll kind of do a depth chart as far as like where everyone fits on the right now and like what the potential depth chart will look like, and get ready for rookie mini camp, training camp and all that stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited. The draft is almost here. So hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. It's a record tonight at 22. Appreciate it. But hope you guys have a good night and look forward to the draft Thursday. And then we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.